All right, so in today's episode, we are going to take a look at how you would approach auctions. Okay, and a lot of it these days can be done online. As a matter of fact, a lot of the big auction houses, eBay, which you see on screen here before you, among a few other different types of auction formats. I would even throw in YouTube auctions. There's even Instagram auctions, there's Facebook auctions. There is a myriad of various auctions that are circulating today, and it doesn't matter what you collect. All right, it could be coins, which is going to be the topic for today. We're going to take a look at a few coins and how you would approach buying these, so that way you don't overpay, and ultimately you're not going to buy it with so much emotion that you're going to get caught up in paying way too much for the item. That's important. I figured we're going to go ahead and preface this video by saying, take the emotion out of auctioning. And it doesn't matter if you're buying for your collection or buying for your business. Let's say you're a coin dealer, or perhaps you do sports cards. It really does not matter. At the end of the day, if your main motivation is to buy a coin and not spend way too much for it to add to your collection so you can afford other coins, or perhaps buying something that you're going to flip and sell, okay, you got to keep in mind the profit margins, what's acceptable. Because obviously you don't want to overpay for a coin and then have to pass that over to the next buyer. You really don't want that buyer to pay too much money for a coin, because at the end of the day, it's a customer service issue. When someone feels like they pay way too much for their coins, they will let other people know about it. Bad news, bad reviews travel a lot faster, and people are more inclined to leave you that negative feedback, to tell others, don't trust this particular seller with these items, because they're priced maybe 20% over the market, or 20% way too much compared to the next highest coin out there. You really have to look at this objectively, as if you're doing business to, just to kind of safeguard your collectibles and the actual value. Because if you overpay today and you try and sell these coins a year from now, let's say you elected to get out of the hobby, more than likely you're going to get a little bit salty about it. You're going to find out by going to that dealer that that coin is only worth X. And yes, coin dealers pay gray sheet prices, numismedia, dealer prices, whatever. They pay a lot less for your coins. But if you pay way too much, let's say you paid $300 for that $200 Morgan dollar. You take it to the coin shop because you needed fast money now. Come to find out, they only give you $75 to $100. I mean, how's that going to make you feel at the end of the day? Sure, you get your money in your palm, but you really don't feel too good after spending $300 and you end up losing over 65% of the value because you needed the money then and there. But even still, let's say you turn around and resold that on eBay for full market. What if you got $200? I mean, how's that going to make you feel? Especially right now when we are in the height of a collectibles market that has been hot for a while. Coins and currency has been blistering hot. All right, so we want to make sure that in today's landscape of buying and selling and online auctions, that we just really keep a clear level head when we approach the purchase of an item. Okay, some of them are very fast paced, and we're going to talk about a few tips to kind of mitigate the fast pace, because the fast paced and the emotion part of it kind of go hand in hand. There's a lot of, you've heard this, and it's kind of like an overused term today, but fear of missing out, or FOMO, is a real thing. You don't want to get caught up with paying $100 for, some special mint set when it's only worth $20. All right, it happens way too common, and we want to try and minimize that the best that we can. All right, so we're going to start with eBay. eBay is really simple. You have your options of either buying the coin outright through a buy it now, add to cart listing, or you actually participate in the actual live auction of that coin. Coins can be sold on 1 day basis. They can be sold 3, 5, 7 days, and even 10 days. So a seller can put a coin up for 10 days, and they'll just let it ride all the way to the end of the sale, whatever that may be. So one of the things that I like to tell people is that if you see a coin you really like, you watch it. All right, so we're going to go and find, a specific coin. I don't know what we're going to look for, but well, let's take a look at half dollars, and I have actually one I'm going to type in here. It's actually quite a semi-key date, but it's a 1938 D Walking Liberty half dollar. I just go ahead and put in the date and the mint mark in there. And all of your listings are going to pop up. Now, here's what's great is that we have a few general auction listings that are running right now. All right, so this Great Southern Coins right here sells a lot of raw coins through just general, 5-7 day auction formats. If you were particularly interested in this coin, you like the look, it's going to fit and slot very well into your collection, then what I would recommend is that you know your grading, first of all. I mean, if you look at this seller had said that this is a VF, all right? So a VF can be VF20 to VF35. It's kind of a wide range. I would say this probably falls more in that VF20 to 25, just based off of appearance alone and the amount of detail without looking at the reverse. I mean, we're going to kind of go through this a little bit quickly for you guys. But, there are a few coins right here. Actually, this one right here from Bubba Sully's looks a little bit better. But I don't know if the coin's been cleaned. But the coin does look a little bit more sharper. It's got better details. This one's probably, they said XF on here. It's close. I'm thinking, somewhere between VF35 and XF40 is where I peg this particular coin to be. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Okay, we've identified two coins that kind of fit the profile of what we're looking for. The immediate thing you ought to do is hit the hearts right there. And when you hit the hearts, you save it into your watch list on eBay. All right, and this will give you an opportunity to check on completed sales, because obviously you want to be somewhere in that ballpark. The 1938 D Walking Liberty half dollar, while it's a pretty good kind of semi-key date, is constantly being sold daily. All right, so it's kind of like the 1955 DDO Lincoln Cent. All right, yes, it's very special, but there are enough of them that sell on a weekly or monthly basis that, if you lose out on one, you could always go and jump onto another. All right, so what we want to do is research these two coins in their respective grades. How much do we expect these coins to sell for? And what I like to do is, while we're in eBay, you go to sold items. You scroll down a little bit and you'll see the little check mark box on the left hand of the screen. You'll click that and then you will have all of the most recent sales. Now, obviously it's going to be from ended recently. So we had coins that have sold here in the last day, quite a few of them actually. But we're going to scroll down till we get to a coin that looks pretty similar to the two coins that we saw during the live auction bidding. All right, so we have this one right here, which is an XF cleaned. Now, it's kind of a rare treat to see a seller say, yes, this coin has been cleaned, and it's a net details XF. That's what I like. Some sellers, in the effort of trying to make more money on their coin, will completely eliminate the word cleaned or damaged or any other details grade classification. What you don't want to do is be completely blind to that, because at the end of the day, you're bidding on the coin, whether it's raw or graded. Even a graded coin, you always hear this expression, buy the coin, not the holder. So you want to use the best possible pictures of what sellers are offering of this coin to make your best judgment. The fact that this person put cleaned on here, yeah, they take a pretty big hit, because, an XF regular, nice, lustrous coin is probably worth about double that, probably close to $200. 1938D is just a special coin once the grades go up beyond like XF45 and into AU territory. They get really expensive. So in this particular case, I mean, this is a pretty good kind of like example to keep on the back of your mind. This one sold for $86. It's an XF cleaned. We continue on down the line. Here's another one. 1938D. This one looks about as good. You can just tell the general wear down the center of the coin on Liberty's body, just kind of like that long line that it makes through circulation. This coin looks to be about a VF30. All right, so keep this in mind. With shipping, it sold for $58, but it doesn't stop there. You have to look at every single coin that fits the approximate profile of that specific grade of coin you're looking for. Like, here's another good one. This looks like a VF25 to VF30. This one sold for $66.60. And then you get to see some of the other grades, some of the lower end, kind of like good VG type grades with full dates. You'll get to see, where those kind of end off at as well. But take a look, the best that you can. Like, here's an AU graded coin, $235. That's exactly kind of like the ballpark money that I would expect a problem-free, about uncirculated coin to sell for. Now, that's an AU 50. That's on the lower end of the scale of about uncirculated, because it does go up to AU 58. But if you take a look, I would say, at 10 coins. And generally, you're going to come across 10 coins within the last 5 days. Should be pretty easy in a VF grade. Like, here's one right here. This one says VF20, sold for $77.99. That's pretty strong money. And the picture is not all that good. So, again, the coins have to be described exactly how you want them to be, and pictures are going to be important. Another thing to keep in mind, target sellers with good feedback. If you see a seller selling these things, and they have a feedback score of 50 with one negative or something like that, you probably want to be a little bit more careful dealing with that. You could always return the coin, even if they don't accept returns through the item not as described policy, but it's still a headache. You still have to run the package to the mailbox and do all this other stuff and literally jump through hoops to get your money back. Here's another good one. See, this one says choice VF XF. So what is it? Just kind of assume the worst case scenario, although this one looks more XF. You could actually see Liberty's hand crossing her midsection right here. And usually that's an XF trait of Walking Liberty half dollars. This one sold for a very nice $90 before shipping. But as you can see, up and down, there are other coins. This helps give you a general barometer of where you need to be on those two coins. And ultimately, again, as you can see, there's no shortage. We've only been through 2 days worth of sales, and we've seen probably a good maybe 8 to 10 VF to XF coins, and you all know where those sell at. All right, so we know that we need to be somewhere between $60 and $80. If we went back to the two coins that we looked at earlier, the Bubba Sullies and the Great Southern Coins example, I would say I probably wouldn't pay no more than about $65, $70 for either coin. All right, given the images, Great Southern Coins sells a lot of coins, but I know for a fact they juice the bejesus out of their coins. They always make it look a lot more better and spectacular than they actually are. That's coming from personal testimony, because I've ordered a few coins from them, and one of them I've had to return. The other one I just chalked it up and kept it. It was only like a $28 coin. But you got to keep in mind, the images paint the complete picture of what you're trying to buy. Another thing to keep in mind, when you are going to auction, don't put your bid in now with 1 day, 10 hours left. Do not put your bid in with 3 days, 23 hours left. Okay, there's a reason why that you have saved both of these coins into your watch list, is you're going to wait till the absolute last second to put in your maximum bid on that coin. All right, set your own budget for each coin and do not surpass it, because at the end of the day, we're talking about a specific date of coin, and these are being sold very often. All right, so there's no shortage of 1930 AD walking liberties. So that's my tip for eBay. All right, make sure you wait last minute. Don't get emotionally involved. If it passes your budget, who cares? Go on to the next one. Buy the best for the least amount of money. All these things. 1930 AD, especially at AU, is a wise buy right now. All right, so if you were even considering like an XF, you know that's going to be an $80 to $100 coin, why not save a little bit more money and go for that AU condition coin that is going to be much more desirable to collectors later on. All right, so that's eBay. Let's go ahead and take a look at great collections. Same thing applies. Let's go ahead and take a look at that 1938D half dollar. Let's see if we got any of those in here. So great collections generally puts in auctions 30 days in advance. So you'll be able to see them. Now, that's not the case for all coins. Sometimes it's 14 days. Sometimes it's 21. But what you want to do is the same thing. You want to look for a 38D because that's the coin you're looking for. These are coins that are going to be ending in 5 days. So that's this Sunday. And we have one right here. We actually have a really, really nice example. This is a Mint State 65. It's an annex graded holder. All right, so you're interested in this one. You're like, I'm ready to, put my bid in and go about my day in the hopes that you win the coin at a cheap enough price that it's going to give you tons of satisfaction. It's going to make you feel like you won in this particular case. So I found that coins that are graded in PCGS and NGC slabs have always sold for more money. All right, keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that there's 5 days left. You want to treat this as you would eBay, in that you put your bid in within the last 30 seconds of that listing. All right, and you got to keep it at your comfort level based off of the information that you've acquired by going into the art auction archives. Another thing to keep in mind, and most people forget or don't realize this, is that Great Collections charges a 12.5% buyer's premium to every coin that you buy from them. So when you go to set your max bid, take into account the 12.5%. That's going to be one of the most important things to just keep tabs on, because if you don't, if you went and you paid $1,000 for a coin, the 12.5%, you're going to end up tacking on another $125 on top of that $1,000. And that's not including tax. If you're in the state of California where Great Collections resides, if you're in California, you're going to have to pay sales tax. You're going to have to pay for the shipping. You got to pay $14 for FedEx 2-day or whatever the case is. So it could get pretty pricey right away. But with eBay, you also pay shipping, and various other things. There's just not a buyer's premium through eBay, but there's a lot more risk with buying on eBay as well, where Great Collections, you can buy a coin, you don't like it, send it back. All right, pretty simple. Just like on eBay, but, they make sure that they acquire the best coins to sell on their website. These are truly collector grade examples compared to the 2 raw examples that we saw on eBay where you don't know if they're cleaned or not, right? You could pay $80 for the coin, come to find out it was harshly cleaned when you look at it under the light, and you have lost about 20% of its value. So again, see this, watch this item, that'll add it to your watch list. So if you're signed up with GC, you could hit this watch this item button and it will hold and show or keep this coin in your watch list till you're ready to bid on it. Or just to watch it to see where it sells at. Maybe you have a coin that's similar to that as well. And then, you would just, I would say, again, last minute, last 30 seconds to a minute, put your bid in, because there's a little bit more lag bidding on Great Collections than there is on eBay. So you want to make sure you give yourself about 30 seconds to put your bid in on there. Same thing. There's an auction archive. You can always look at similarly graded 38Ds in there. So we are in the archive part of it. You just go ahead and pick $50. And in this particular case, I'm just going to go ahead and type in 1938D. in here to just kind of keep it simple, like so. And we're going to do newly listed because we want to see the most recent sales of this particular date and mint mark. So when this pops up, you're going to see all of the completed sales since the dawn of Great Collections, which is cool. Sorry, my computer's a little bit slow, much like I am this morning. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have here. So, I mean, geez, you know, there was a 66 plus CAC for $5,300. Here's a Mint State 67 that sold for $3,500. Wow, pretty big price discrepancy for a grade point higher, but of course this one's CAC stickered. There's an AU 58. So automatically an AU 58 is a $457 coin. So you think that Mint State 65 in the Annex holder would sell for $400? I highly doubt it. I think to some people they'll see that Annex graded coin and they'll look at the possibility of sending that out to NGC or PCGS for a crossover. But let's say that coin comes back as a Mint State 64, you would still make quite a bit of money if you had bought it for like $600. Here's a Mint State 65 through NGC. That's CAC certed for $1,055. All right, so we know our Annex coin won't sell for that because this has some extra stuff and it's in a better holder. Here's a PCGS Mint State 65 CAC. That one's $1,100. Here's a Mint State 63 with a CAC sticker at $618. I don't know if there's going to be another Annex graded Mint State 65. Here's a Mint State 65 through PCGS that sold for $843. Of course, this one has no green bean sticker, so definitely keep that in mind. You can see the price difference. It's about $200 with that green bean sticker, which is just a certification extra bonus. You know, an outside company certifies the grade that PCGS or NGC has appropriately put onto that coin. Keep an eye out for Mint State 63s. I kind of think between a 63 and a 64, that is where your ballpark's going to be for that Annex graded coin. So I would say that is right in the wheelhouse. And in AU58s are still a strong seller. The coin that we looked at that is in live bidding will not sell for $400. But if it did, boy, that would be a heck of a pop right there. Here's a Mint State 64 through Annex. That sold for $787. Of course, this is in a little bit older white soap bar slab that Annex used to do back in the day. But check that out. I would assume that the 65 that we just looked at in live auction would probably sell for around $800. So you don't want to spend a whole lot more than that because as you can see, we do see Mint State 63s, 64s, 65s continuously being sold on Great Collections or any other auction site for that matter, Heritage. So don't overpay for this particular date unless it's a top pop grade like the 67 plus, $40,000. That's a completely different animal of a coin. Here's a PCGS Mint State 65 at $771. Personally, based off of the numbers I'm seeing right now, I would feel comfortable bidding between $700 and $800, preferably $700 because you do have that 12.5% buyer's premium. You got your premium shipping. Of course, you're going to have to pay up to ship this because it's a higher dollar value item, and time for that matter. But keep that in mind. And that's Great Collections. Great Collections is actually really easy to navigate and bid on. There's just a little bit of that lag when you go to put your bid in at the last second. All right, so keep that in mind. Plus, it doesn't have the live countdown by seconds. It actually, every time you refresh the page, it skips however much time it took to refresh the page. It could be like 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 4 seconds. So that's Great Collections. So through the course of looking at each coin, it took us approximately 1 minute to go into either eBay completed sold listings or the auction archive in great collections to take a quick glance at how much these have sold for. I would expect you guys to do the same thing if you're doing live bidding on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Facebook, it actually takes a little bit longer unless someone does a Facebook Live auction presentation. You don't have a ton of time to make up your mind. All right. Hopefully, if you have a good auctioneer, they're going to give you a preview of all the coins that are going to be available, like say on a Saturday when they usually do these auctions. And it'll give you time to do the prep work, to go in and look at auction archives on eBay. How much is this 1976 proof set going for that you really want? Don't spend more than like $22 on it, or whatever the case may be. It'll just give you a lot more firepower, and it's going to make you feel good. Even though you lose the battle, you lose out on that item. People tend to bid up, and they pay way too much on coins when it's pure emotion involved. Now, the other X factor that I actually have to bring up, if an auctioneer or a YouTube auctioneer is offering coins for auction, and it's going to be for a charitable cause, then by all means, bid however much you feel like bidding that makes you feel good in that moment to help out in the cause. If and only if it's a charitable contribution. Make sure you're not paying some ridiculous fees for like PayPal, goods and services, or anything like that. If they're asking you to pay the fees in addition to doing the PayPal, you probably don't want to do business with that auctioneer, among a few other things. But the idea is you are going to be in a safe position with your coins, because a lot of times the coins that we buy today are going to end up either getting sold while we're still around, or they're going to get passed down to family members. They're going to get passed down to our kids. They're going to get passed down to our parents if, that was the situation. Whatever, or a brother or sister or wife or husband. So we want to make sure that we are in a true right position to make it easier on our loved ones, to make it easier on ourselves when it's time to finally say, you know what, I don't need this anymore. I actually want to cash out, and I want to take that vacation while I'm still around. I want to take my wife on that cruise. I want to pay off all my credit cards so that way I don't have them anymore. There's a bunch of different things that forces us to make drastic money moves. Maybe we're just getting too old, and it's like, while I could still walk, I want to be able to enjoy my retirement by golfing every day, or doing what you love best. And this is, I know it's kind of silly because we're talking about coins and collectibles, but coins and collectibles have a prominent place in this market. Some people see it as an investment, the same way that we see a 401k as an investment, the same way that we see the stock market as an investment, cryptocurrency world, things of that nature. So this is a very prominent kind of like sector in investing that is continuing to go up each and every single day. And the methods in which you can buy coins and the auctions and all that great stuff is becoming even more fast-paced. All right? Keep in mind, fast-paced generally means that you put more emotion into it, more FOMO, the fear of missing out. If I lose this, I'm going to lose my hair type of scenario, and you don't want to do that. Unless it's a unique one-off item, generally there's no justification in paying such an absorbent amount of money for a premium on that item when there's so many of them available on, like eBay as a buy it now listing. You can go on there and just add to cart and check out. Even Amazon selling coins. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Don't engage in unnecessary bidding wars. Keep emotion out of it. Save the items to your list. Put your bid ins last second. And always do the research. Always look at completed sold items that are most recent. They're going to give you the best, absolute most accurate kind of snapshot of where the coin market is for that particular date, for that particular series. And that's what matters to you guys. Or at least it should. At least it should matter a good deal. But That's going to go ahead and do it. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Sorry, no little face thumbnail of me this morning. I wanted to make sure that you guys get a complete look at these auction pages as I talk about them. You know, have fun. We're in the summertime right now. Usually people are kind of dialing back on buying collectibles, but coins and currency and precious metals seem to be outperforming the best of the rest. So people are still paying more for these coins. They're paying huge premiums. You want to make sure that you are doing it with a level head and it's appropriate for you. Okay? Don't go broke. Don't pull out a second mortgage to get this stuff because there will always be another example of something. So that's going to go ahead and do it. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to like, share, and please do subscribe. If you enjoy my content today, the extra endorsement certainly goes a long way. I want to thank you guys for that. Another thing to point out, congratulations to the live coin Q&A channel for hitting 1,000 subscribers. That's a huge milestone, and I've been pulling for our group for quite some time. And finally, we have kissed that brass ring, and we are finally there on that channel. Thank you for everyone that has supported us on that channel. But that's going to go ahead and do it. You guys, jump on the auction circuit. Go ahead and win yourself a few coins. And have fun. All right. Take care.